Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Glenn Anything, the live Q&A with life coach Glenn Ambrose, aka this bearded gentleman to my left or to my
Hola.
right. I'm not sure anymore. How are you, Glenn?
Wicked good, man. How are you?
I am good.
You were busy.
I'm good.
Yeah, I was just watching you live on another show, like 30 seconds before you clicked over here. That's funny. Better you than me, man. I'd be stressed out. I can't do that.
Hey man, and I have another one. I have another one immediately after this with
Yeah.
a United States Congress. So I'm just gonna sleep during this show.
So
No,
a
if you
United
have,
States congressman, that's like a step down from me as
yeah,
far as the importance level.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we're on the same
So
page.
yeah, we're on the same page. It's hot today in Rhode Island, which is weird because it's been really chilly for like a month now, and now it's really hot. And I don't know what's happening. I don't know.
I don't know what's happening.
How's Florida? You've been back in Florida for about 12 days. How's that going? We got a laughing emoji. I assume that's from Sarah. It is.
Hi, Sarah.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon to you, Sarah. How are you? So if you have questions, please ask them in the comments. Glenn will answer them. How's Florida treating you?
Good.
Excellent.
Good. It's an adjustment, getting back. We probably talked about it last week because this is the second time we did this here, right?
Yeah, I just meant in general how not the transition. I don't care about the transition. That's old news. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all is well. The very, very similar to when I left. The weather's a little touchy. It's kind of been raining a lot at inconvenient times for me. So that's been an issue with my bike rides recently. But
Oh man.
I guess I'll let Mother Nature do her thing.
Yeah.
I guess I won't complain too much. I guess she's got a lot on her plate with 7.8 billion people on her. So yeah.
So we had a little behind the scenes stuff. We recorded podcasts earlier today that you guys won't hear until like January. But
so what I want everybody to do is make a note of the shirt that I'm wearing.
Me too. Same shirt. It was
and then watch the video in January, and the length of my hair. Watch the 2 videos, and then you'll see that we are not lying.
Yeah.
Very important.
But there was a subject that we almost did a show on that we didn't do a show on that I wanted to talk about, which was being addicted to accomplishments. Right.
Yeah.
So that was one of the topics that we might have talked about this morning that we didn't have time for. And but I had, just the general question of how do you handle being addicted to accomplishments? And what is that about?
Well, it's unconscious. This is why I say this often, like if we really look at the way we live, it makes 0 sense. And this is just another example of that. It's insidious the way that our mind works and what drives us and what controls our behavior. We're really not even aware of it. And when we really look at it and dissect it and understand it, we start going, wow, like that's kind of warped. I need to adopt a different way. So, this is one of those things. It's if we really look at what drives us throughout our day, it's one of the main reasons why I don't know if it's why we live unconsciously or how we live unconsciously. Maybe how is a better word, but we have an addiction to accomplishing things, and it's why we're never in the present moment, because we're constantly trying to accomplish something, because when we do, there's kind of this egoic stroke of our ego to where we feel some sort of sense of satisfaction or pleasure or something, and it's very minimal a lot of times, and it doesn't last. But we've become addicted to it. And so we're not paying attention to anything that we're doing ever. We're always just trying to finish it so we can get to the next thing. I mean, that's even more of it. We don't even at this point, we don't even slow down enough to enjoy the ego stroke that it gives us. Like we're so addicted to it that we don't even give ourselves a chance to enjoy the high. We just want to do it again and again and again and again. So it's always, so when we're brushing our teeth, it's so we can put our contacts in, so we can get dressed, so we can be downstairs, so we can be in the car, so we can go to work. Like, it's all addicted. And once we finish one thing, we go on to the next, we go on to the next, we go on to the next. And we're always looking to finish whatever we're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. It's speaking of like not even allowing yourself to enjoy it. I literally, this happened. So last week I did this really big corporate event for a banking institution. They did like a big corporate conference, and it involved me for 2 days in a row. There were 3 days total, but to have 3 different laptops next to me and do simultaneous streams. And like, it was 16 and 24 hours. So it was 40 hours worth of work in live streams over a week, which is a lot for live streams on top of everything else. It was a massive project, and it was such a big undertaking, especially the 2 periods of 3 things at the same time. And I was so into it and so involved in it and whatever. And I didn't even think about it, to the point that once it was done, I was like, once this is done, I'm going to be like, this is a mountain I climbed. Right. And I didn't even stop to think for a second about the mountain that I climbed. So much so that I got an email today from my contact person there that went, "Hey, you forgot to invoice us for that. Like, I literally just completely moved on to the stuff I was doing this week and forgot all about this thing that was really big that I really wanted to accomplish." And the same thing happened with the fair, which was a 5-day thing that was literally like an endless amount of work in August. Like,
we do it with everything.
Big accomplishments, and I do it all the time, and then I move on and I completely forget about it. But like, I'm addicted to it at that moment, finishing it.
Yeah, you think that there's happiness there. You think that there's going to be this sense of fulfillment there. You think, oh my God, if this, we put so much emphasis on it, and it's like a lot of times, I don't get real externally excited about a lot of things as much as other people do. I mean, I have my moments of passion when I'm chatting and doing stuff and I'm all in and all that stuff. But like I don't usually get to a point where I'm thinking about something where I'm like, oh my God, some people get like that. I just don't get like that about anything. And I think sometimes people expect me to, but it's because of that, it's kind of forced me to look at my thought forms around that. And like, I don't think that when I do something, all of a sudden, suddenly I'm going to be fulfilled. Like, we put like, oh my God, if I get this job, oh my God, if I get this job, everything's going to be awesome. Like, or if I get this house, I don't think like that. It's not that I don't want these things and I don't put effort towards things. Sometimes I do, but I don't like, there's no big thing. And like, so, so sometimes, you know, like if I don't remember if this happened then or not, but sometimes like I'll go like skydiving, and afterwards they'll be like, people will be like, how was it? Like, it was really good. And they're like, that's it? Like, it was, like, I'm not sure what you're looking for. Like, you know, like how long, like when I'm skydiving, I'm like, whoa, you know, it's really fun. And then it's really peaceful when you land. Then after you get this little, you know, you got this adrenaline rush from doing it, and you're like all smiles and you feel great and all that stuff, and everything's wonderful. But by the time you get in the car and get halfway home, I mean, it's kind of worn off to some degree.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you enjoy the moment, and then you kind of, so like it's, and if I was thinking about this the other day, if big accomplishments actually really fed us as much as we thought they did, what would that look like? You know, like what would that feel like? What would that look like? Because we build it up really big, like it's going to, you know, so it's like, how excited can you stay after a house closing? Like for how long? Like, you know, like after the house closing, you go have dinner and you're all excited and you cheers and you're like, wow, this is awesome. We got our house, you know, like how long do you do that? Like, do you go to work the next day and the following weekend and cheers every meal and go, did I tell you we got the house? They're like, yeah, 3 times, you know, like, congratulations, you got the house. Yeah. Like, and then 2 weeks later, you do that again, and yeah, and you walk around for like a month going, "What? I got the house," grabbing strangers. Like, no, that would be that. But we build it up like it's going to change our life that much. Like our life, we're going to be walking through everyday life in perpetual bliss, happiness, and fulfillment if this takes place.
Yeah.
If we actually were to do that, people would think that we're crazy, you know, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't actually happen like that. So I think, you know, if we have to stop putting weight on our accomplishments, thinking that they're going to bring us happiness, they're not, you know, that we can experience things and we can feel joy while we're experiencing things. We can even pat ourselves on the back for an accomplishment here or there and cheers over a meal. But then you move on and it's the next day and it's the next day. This is why it's important to have happiness coming from within you and not based on external circumstances.
Right. Why do we have the Steve says, is your t-shirt the son from the Raisin Bran commercial?
No, but it could be. If I could, is that like the heard it from a grapevine?
Yeah, I think so.
I think there is some similarity, but it didn't have an ohm symbol. It probably had a raisin.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
So I think you know, you also have like the law of diminishing returns on stuff, right? So like I was thinking
like heroin.
Yes, but I was thinking about positive things. So like for example, my friend is a photographer, and like I've been, you know, with her on the journey the whole time from like 3 or 4 years ago when she started. And
pictures.
Right. And I was so excited the first photos that she took and how amazing they were, right? And now like but like so excited, like I couldn't shut up about it for like 48 hours. How great those photos were. And now like in the past week she sent me 3 different photo shoots with families that I looked through, and they were all like some of the most stunning family photos that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I love her more than, like, she is closer than a sister to me. And it is not the same feeling, because what I thought was, these are some of the most amazing photos I've ever seen in my life, and I expect it to be. So like, hey, great job. And then I moved on. Right. You know what I mean? I said great job, and I made sure that I knew that she knew that I thought that they were stunning. But like, but I didn't have the same, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing. Like, so it's the same thing with my projects. Like they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't have that like stop and smell the roses high of that. Today I had, and this is why I remembered the addicted to accomplishments thing, because today I had like an hour break in between from what we were doing this morning and what I'm going to be doing the rest of the night. And I was looking at old screenshots on my phone because it said that my storage was full. So I put two pictures together. One was from 2000, right before I met you, and one was from 2 weeks ago. And I looked at it and I sent it to somebody and they were like, wow, that's amazing. Are you so happy? And I was like, no. No, I felt nothing when I said, can I show you the picture?
Yeah.
All right. I have it here. So here is the side by side.
Wow.
So that's the side by side. That's February. That's February 2011 or 2012, and that's last week.
Wow. You look like you're about to kick somebody's ass in that first one.
Yeah. So, and I looked at that picture and I felt nothing. I don't know why, but I felt nothing. I was like, yeah. They were like, but you've done so much, and I'm like, eh. And by the way, if you're listening to this on Instagram, not on Instagram. If you're listening to this on Insight Timer, you can check out the live video on Glenn's social media. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, what is it about us that like we don't care about our accomplishments, even though we put so much effort into them?
Because we're trained, that's another thing that we're subconsciously trained to do. We're trained to beat ourselves up and not pat ourselves on the back. If we actually give ourselves credit for the good things that we do, we're taught that is egotistical, and we think we're better than other people, and other people are going to feel like crap and all this stuff. So we can't do that. So this is why, most people that I know, a compliment bounces right off of them, but a criticism goes right into their heart. So we have to reverse that, and that's something that we can do on a daily basis with the little things, celebrating the little victories, patting ourselves on the back, understanding that, it's okay to be happy. Like when somebody asks how your day is going, people like, oh, not bad. They don't want to offend anybody. If I say that, I always say the opposite, and most people love it, So like if I say, somebody's like, how you doing? I'm like, awesome. A lot of times they stop and they're like to see if I'm kidding, and I just look at them, There's I don't say it in an egotistical way. I'm not saying I'm awesome and you suck. I'm saying I'm just doing awesome. And then they look and they're like, oh my God, he's serious. And they love it. Like, that's so nice to hear. This has never happened in the last 3 years to them, that they asked how somebody was doing and they gave them enthusiastic, positive feedback, And because we are so trained to beat ourselves up, and it's no wonder why our self-esteem is so low. If we ever do anything that makes us feel good about ourselves, we just stuff it down and
yeah,
So we do have to pat ourselves on the back, and we do have to appreciate the stuff that we do, but it's the unconscious addiction that is the problem. It's the unconscious addiction, thinking that, I'm going to feel better when I do this. Like Eckhart Tolle talks about staying in the present moment. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's basically the same thing. And, he does, I was watching this, this thing where he was literally like doing it with water. And I showed this to a client a little while ago, and they're like, oh my God. And he's like, so if I think like I want a drink of water, like usually we're already like going to get the glass. We want it to our mouth before we even pick it up. We want the water in us and we want to put it back down before, like, we just want the next thing constantly. So he's like, okay, I want a drink of water. It's okay to want a drink of water. I'm good. I'm happy right now. Now I'm happy with my arm reaching towards the water. And now I'm happy with the water coming back. And it's not there yet. I don't have it in my system yet. And I'm still happy. This is good. I'm not waiting for it to be accomplished for it to be okay. And he goes through the whole thing like that. Now I want a drink of water. Ah, that felt good. Now I'll put it back.
That was good video content. I wonder how it's going to be on audio.
Yeah, that's true. Audio, it's just, well, I think there was enough
it's
audio.
fine.
I think there was enough audio. But like, it's you have to be present in the moment and actually stop just trying to do things as a means to an end.
Yes.
Everything is a means to an end, and we don't enjoy anything that we're doing. That's why we run through life unconsciously the whole time and wake up at the end of the day being like, oh, that was, it's the end of the day. And we go, like, we've been going since we got into the shower at 6:30 in the morning. Well, not me, because I don't get up that early, but at 6:30 in the morning. And then all of a sudden, we wake up at 7 at night and go, Faith came over to say hi.
Hi, Faith. Again, guys, if you're just listening to this and not watching the video,
Faith is my dog, and she's saying hi.
Hi, Faith.
Right, pup?
Faith needs her own podcast.
No, she doesn't, because that'd just be one more thing for me to do. People have said that. She needs her own Facebook page. I'm like, no, she doesn't. Who do you think is going to be running that? I've got enough going on. I'll share some pictures on mine. But yeah, so, we gotta, stop putting our happiness off and learn to be in the present moment.
Yeah.
And find our happiness there.
Kelly commented, she said, we feel like being proud is showing off. So wrong. Every achievement should be praised.
True.
And Sarah has a water emoji. Thank you, Sarah.
What? Oh, because we're drinking water. Okay.
Yeah. And she also said beautiful girl with hearts and puppy paws.
And since Faith is the only girl here, we're going to assume she's talking about her.
Yes. So I mean, I think that was something that and another thing that I'm just thinking of is like constantly chasing achievements. Do you think that leads to burnout?
Yeah. Just listen to the way that you said it. Do you think chasing achievements leads to burnout? Yeah. You sound burnt out. So yes, it does lead to burnout, because that's, because we never get there. We never arrive. What we're looking for never is the payoff, because the payoff that we're truly looking for is happiness and fulfillment. And that doesn't come through accomplishment. Fulfillment doesn't. I think that's one of the most confusing things. Like, fulfillment is a very interesting word that I don't think we understand as a society very well. Oh, are you fulfilled? Like, who? I don't know. Like, like, oh, you have your own business. Is it fulfilling? No. Like, it's not fulfilling. Why would having my own, that's an accomplishment. Why would having accomplished something be fulfilling? Like, it feels good. And then you move on with life, like everything else. I'm not walking. Fulfilling is like a kind of a feeling that you experience. So I don't think an accomplishment, you can feel a little sense of fulfillment temporarily, but it's just like the joy, like it's, it's gone. I mean, and it's more like joy that you feel. Fulfillment you really feel when you're doing what you enjoy. Like when I'm talking about stuff like this, it's fulfilling because like I have this stuff inside of me, this information inside of me that wants to come out, and it's fulfilling when I do that because that's my purpose. I'm supposed to be sharing information with those who feel like listening. Like right. That's just what I'm doing. And like so like somebody else that is meant to be a painter, painting is very fulfilling while they're doing it because they're taking joy in what they're doing while they're doing it. So fulfillment is something that you experience while you're doing something that you're doing. It's not something you get from an accomplishment.
Right. So like for you, right? There's a book behind you. Down to Earth, the Spiritual Being's Guide to a Happy Human Experience. But there's a book behind you, and so the achievement for you is you wrote a book. The achievement for you is people buy your book. The achievement for you is you have a podcast and people listen to it. Like that's those are the achievements. But if you don't love the process of it, right? If you don't love sitting in a room talking to me for 4 hours every 5 to 6 hours every month, if you don't love talking to your clients, if you don't love
those accomplishments, mean nothing.
Right.
Because I wrote a book. So like, and like, that's not, I can't live off that today.
And I was miserable the whole time. Yeah. No, then why would you do any of it?
Right. You have to enjoy the process. And that's, there was that book, I forgot the name of it, something, it had the F-bomb in the title. But whatever, there was some good parts to it. And one thing that he did a good job at explaining this aspect of things. And he was like, the author fell in love with the idea of becoming a rock star. And that's the end goal. He fell in love with the end goal. So people fall in love. When I write, once this book is done, then I'll be an author, and then, like whatever. So whatever it's at the end, if you fall in love with the goal, like that's not it. You have to fall in love with the process getting to the goal. That's when that, the Eddie Van Halen just passed. Eddie Van Halen loved to sit in his room and play guitar.
Right.
You don't get that good without loving just sitting in your room and playing guitar. And other people that play guitar, they're like, oh, I have to go practice. Well, then you probably shouldn't be playing guitar. Oh, yeah, but I want to be a rock star, so I have to. Yeah, you're in love with an imaginary goal that you're probably never going to reach because you don't enjoy doing what it takes to get there. So it's the joy in the journey, that's the key of it. Is really, that's where you get fulfillment. And if you do anything else, you do get burned out. If you're waiting for an achievement to give you some sort of sensation of fulfillment or happiness, you get burned out because there's never an achievement good enough. Like, and that kind of works with anything. You could feed like 1 million starving people on the planet. And before you do it, you think like, oh my God, if I could feed 1 million people, I would feel so fulfilled. And then you go and you actually accomplish it. You might feel fulfilled a little bit, but that's going to burn right out. And then you're going to be done. Because why? Because you didn't even make a dent in the problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that we shouldn't feed starving people. What I'm saying is the way we do it needs to change. It's if you think once you do something you're going to feel good, then you can't sustain that, and you do get burned out. But if you sit there and you go, I want to feed as many people as I can, and every time you take a step to feed one of them, you you feel alive taking whatever step that is, whatever, maybe it's making meals. As you're making them, you're like, oh, this is so awesome. I can't believe I get to do this. This is so good. And I love helping people, and I love putting the food together, and this is great. And it's going for a good cause. And this is awesome. Somebody that does that and lives like that as they're taking the actions never gets burnt out.
Yep.
And they live happy lives, and it's a wonderful thing. But if somebody has it set up as a goal, if they're lucky enough to get to that goal without burning out, they're going to be burned out once they get there, because they didn't enjoy what they're doing in the moment. So this is all, I think that we kind of pointed a lot of different ways. I think it's all about, understanding that accomplishments, being addicted to accomplishing things, not being present, and constantly putting things off, and a means to an end, and all the different phrasing that we used is all about being in the present moment.
Yep. Completely. This is great. This was basically a podcast episode today. We did the podcast we didn't do this morning about this.
Yeah, now I got to come up with another idea. All right, guys, email me some podcast ideas.
Yes.
I just used up another one.
But that's fine. We can release this as an episode if you want on the regular podcast for everybody. It'll be on Insight Timer anyway. And if you're on Insight Timer or wherever you are and you are looking to get some help, you can send a message to Glenn. And if you want to check out all of the past Ask Glenn Anythings and podcasts, you can do both of that. Let's see. Jessica Ellsworth, let's take this comment. I completely relate to that, both in the helping aspect and going places for fun. When I went to Africa and helped build an orphanage, it was great for the moment, but then what?
Right.
When I traveled to foreign countries, great, but then you come home and then what? Yeah.
Right. And that's so important. And I love the example she gave, because when you give an example of buying a car or a house or getting a job, they're so obviously material that people go, yeah, Glenn, I know what you're saying. But man, if I ever built an orphanage in Africa, that would really be something, because it has meaning. No, it's all the same, man. So it's all the same. It's the problem isn't what your goal is. Your problem is that you're basing happiness and fulfillment in a goal. That's what's never going to work, and it's not that you don't feel good building an orphanage. Of course you feel good building an orphanage. Of course there's some payback for doing things that help other people. I'm not saying that there isn't payback for doing those types of things. I'm saying we can't be addicted to the goal and thinking that all of a sudden we're going to be happy for the rest of our lives. And if you slow down, that's what we're doing, and we don't realize it. If you say it out loud, you go, well, you think you're going to be happy for the rest of your life if you do that. People go, no, I don't. Oh, okay. And then you have a conversation with them and you start pulling apart their thought process and asking questions. And what you find underneath all that is exactly that. They think that they're going to be fulfilled, for the rest of their life. And then they're going to be happy. Then they get to be happy, and it's like, nope, that's not how it works. And Jessica can testify to that with the thumbs up she just gave us.
Well, thank you so much for that input, Jessica. And thank you, Glenn, for a wonderful, wonderful evening.
And thank you, Kelly and Sarah, for chiming in.
Yep. And Steve, I think.
And Steve, that's my brother-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Hi, Steve. And Sarah and Kelly and everybody else.
He can't answer you, Ben.
They can't answer. Whatever. I am going stir crazy, and it's cool because I saved the highest stakes show of the day for the last one. So
no. This one was the highest stakes. We discussed this ahead of time. I am higher on the level of importance. Happiness, peace, and love is much more important than politics, dude. Get it right.
I yes. That is
all
true.
Right.
That is true. But there's literally almost no way that I can mess up a show with you.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
All right.
Yeah. Say goodbye to your people, Glenn.
Goodbye, people. Thanks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk with you soon.